There's nothing. These guys took care of it. I made a deal with them. If they had, some of them had their kids over there, had Korean wives. If your kids get sick or anything, I'll look at them. We'll treat them. We'll treat you. The army would have treated them, but they just didn't like going up there to the soul. Oh, you're a fucking civilian, you know.
Oh, okay.
But that deal. But anyway, I treated a few of them. Could have got some of them into the hospital up in Seoul, but they didn't want to go. They like staying in their local village up there where their husband were. And in that process of seeing all these people, going to the different villages and everywhere else, that's where I met Suni.
Okay.
And she was in a little village right outside of camp. And she was a hairdresser. And had worked at the local mess hall. You know, serving food, washing dishes, God knows what all. I never did know it. But we kind of took up together. And we lived together about a year before I had to come back to the States. I only had an 18-month tour. And finished that. I had to go to Kempo to get on the airplane. Well, she wanted to go to the inside the airport. I couldn't get her in the airport. She was a local. Well, I'd given her my address in town, and I told one of the other guys there, if she wants to converse with me, write me a deal, give me your address, and I'll do the writing, send it to you, and you send it to me, back and forth. So it was good. Had a real good setup there. I was having a good time. Thought I was. But I got from there back to Fort Devens. In the process of it, Devens, I said, boy, I don't like this. I said, I wrote her a letter. She had to take it to the local guy to convert it. And I said, better get your papers ready. I'm sending you the rest of the deal and money and how to do it and everything else. We're going to get you. I got all it inspected and investigated. Because you have to investigate all the foreigners that are, marrying a GI. So she got all her papers and all this shit. I sent her enough money to do it with. Wasn't doing too good with that deal, so I bought 2 little recorders about like this. Sent her one of them to send it to this guy, and he gave it to her. And she didn't have to write, do nothing, and I didn't have to write anything. We did it just like you're doing right there.
Just recorded it, yeah.
Recorded the damn thing. Sent it to over. Send them every time she'd get one, she'd read it, take her notes, listen to it, take her notes, send it off. And when you sent the little hickey,
Yeah.
it worked out. I had that damn thing here until about maybe 6 months ago. When we were about in this scare that we were going to sell the house and everything. I was cleaning out. I found shit that I didn't know how long I'd had that shit. That was one of those little recording machines. I think they were about $20. She had hers. I had lost mine somewhere or another, but it was in here. And in the process of getting some of this stuff, it hasn't been picked up in 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Oh, we don't need that shit. So we got rid of that. Got orders again from Fort Devens back to Vietnam, and that was with the 25th Infantry Division. That's the first time I've been on a special force in a long time. So I got my orders for Vietnam. Need all the stuff that I had. Run through Korea. We got off the aircraft. She was waiting at the deal. She didn't have her papers all yet. She'd already had her marriage papers and everything all ready to go. When we got in there, we went down to Seoul. Got everything done to get all of it done. A couple of weeks later, we got married there at Kempo Air Base. Not in it. This was all in the civilian deal. We didn't go nothing with the military. The team was there with me. All her folks, her mom and dad. We got pictures of all that shit.
I've seen it, yeah.
You've seen some of them, not all of them. Got them all done.
Now that would have been 60...
That was in 69.
69.
We might have jumped a year or two in the wrong direction, but
That's all right.
it's hard to remember all that shit.
And then you had to ship out to Vietnam.
Yeah, I was going. I couldn't. I stayed over there 30 days. I got in there and we started playing house, and
Then you had to go.
I had to go. But the day we were married, some of the customs over there were funny, but to us they were funny. One of them was it was grape season. Well, her mom and her made some grape wine. Boy, you talking about some terrible shit. Well, anyway, we got through with the wedding, held a reception over where we were living, there about a mile from Kimpo, and got the wine glasses out and all this, you know. We had toast around all the way, you know, and I had tasted it, and I didn't tell her. It was wine, you know, it was good, but it wasn't Mad Dog 2020 either. So, got all that done, got my bag packed, went to Kimpo. Special Forces group was there, the Koreans, all that, and they had a box of shit, gifts that they gave me, you know. You can't carry that on a fucking aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent it by military freight from the detachment to my home address
Oh, wow.
at that time.
Okay.
So got to see everybody there, got on the damn plane, and partner, I'll tell you, the first 3 months back at Devon's was hard for me. I run around there, couldn't get anything right. Nothing went right, you know, nothing tasted good. I wasn't hungry for anything that I always wanted and all that shit. And I said, well, what? And A&M, you don't know A&M, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But after I got home, sitting there at my room eating breakfast, A&M was sitting there talking, drinking their coffee. And she'd pour coffee in a saucer and drink it this way. The old timers drink that. Well, she said, how you doing? I said, I'm not doing too good anyway. What's wrong with you? So, oh, no, taste good. You know, mom's cooking is there, but it's not the same. I don't know what's going on. Man. I just don't feel good all over. And she said, you have a girlfriend over there, boy? I said, yes, ma'am. I sure did. She said, I tell you what's wrong with you. You bit. And I tell you, when I got up to Devon and got all that done, put that stuff down, put my papers in. So we're going over there. Mm-hmm. The day I put all that shit and got it all finalized, yes, I'm going. Get out of the way. I felt like I put down a 100-pound sack of feet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was tough. It was tough. Couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
You know, hell, couldn't sleep. Right across from our bachelor nurse's quarter was the arms room. It had 2 men inside, all our weapons and all this good stuff. For each company had separate weapons. Got all that in. I got there. Took off. And that was the marriage deal. It was it's out of socket there. Mm-hmm. In the deal. But coming back, no problem. I run through there and picked her up in 3 or 4 days. We come on back to the States.
So how long were you in Vietnam that last time?
14 months.
Was it 14
25th
months?
Infantry Division. I was first sergeant.
First sergeant. And where were y'all most of the time then?
Cu Chi, Vietnam. And that's west of Saigon. That's the infantry division that wasn't in Honolulu, I mean in Hawaii. Bolt of lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
14 months there. You were first sergeant.
First sergeant, D company to the first.
So when you D company. And so when you got shipped back, you stopped in Korea.
I stopped to come back to Korea, and I'd already told her, this is a date, this, that, and the other. We come on back to the States. Got off the airplane in Houston, and she's sticking pretty close to me because, you know, this is all news.
Yeah, I bet she was.
She was. She said, I was scared. And she said, we're going in, walking off the plane into the lounge there, whatever you want to call it. And then she says, what do I do when I meet your mother? I said, you give her a big hug. Oh, Mom thought that was great.
I bet she did.
Oh, man.
I bet she did.
She really thought that was great. Then we got back up there to Horton, and some of the old aunts come by and visit us. And while we were there, living in Horton, and that 107 from the street. I can't remember where I went. But had a good time there for a few days. And went up to Fort Sam Houston. That's where I ended, right there. At Fort Sam Houston, I was a medical instructor for field medicine and surgery. So the new guys coming in the Army. That proved out a nice place for me.
Yeah, it
Got
did.
some good people.
Mm-hmm.
Got promoted to E8. Times, they say, that's a fast, aren't they? Yes, they were at that time.
Yeah.
If you had the right shit, you order, shit was in order.
You took care of business. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Anyway, so we first moved into an apartment. And the apartment we moved into a trailer, bought a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And stayed there for a few months and didn't like that. She didn't need it. So I requested quarters, and we went into quarters on post,
Mm-hmm.
which was nice. And right along there, just before we moved on post, there was a little gal called along named Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1972.
That's it.
He was born there in Brook General Hospital. A good trip.
Okay, so
From there, I went to that advisor duty again with the reserves, and I was stationed in Dallas. I'm not
when you
stationed.
lived in DeSoto, right?
Yeah, when we lived in Soto. We helped this was a brigade-size medical outfit. A brigade size, that's a big one. There's only 3 of them in the whole army.
Wow.
And I stayed there and we helped them, went out and checked on them. Didn't need much checking, some of them did, but when we'd fly, there was 2 of us, 2 enlisted, 2 officers. And went out, did our visiting, talking, coming back and reporting.
I'm going to ask a stupid question, but E8, is that
That's first sergeant.
first sergeant? Okay.
First sergeant or master sergeant. There's 2 E8s.
Got it.
My first sergeant in Vietnam is in the D8. And when I made that, I was a master sergeant.
And so you got promoted to sergeant major when you were in Dallas, or when you were at Fort Sam?
At Fort Sam.
Fort Sam.
Yeah.
And that's E9. No.
E9.
E9.
Sergeant Major E9. Yeah, I made that while I was at the brigade. And they wanted to know, Colonel come in and asked me, he says, how much time you got in grade? I don't know, but I got a letter asking me something. He said, I got one too. I said, what'd you get one for? He says, they're asking you if you want to accept a promotion if you are selected. You know. And I thought and thought and thought. No, I knew what those guys did. They had a lot of elbow rubbing and all this other shit. And they didn't,
What would have been the next?
there was nothing after that.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Sergeant Major is the highest
That's what I
enlisted
thought.
grade you can get. It's
I thought so.
There's a position called Sergeant Major of the Army. And that's the Sergeant Major over all the fucking Army people.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff. There's lots of them below him too. And I thought and thought. Colonel and I talked for a lot. Talked to several people back at Fort Sam that I knew. And he says, you know what you're going to be doing if you take that command, don't you? I said, yeah. I'm going to be a gopher. You don't get to do nothing. You got to go here and go here and go there.
Mm-hmm.
And you work for a lieutenant colonel or a full colonel or higher, and took care of problems, helped them with this, that, and the other, and a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, damn, here I am, kid not 5 years old yet.
Mm-hmm.
Wife is doing real good. She got her citizenship there in San Francisco. They was waiting on her when she got there. They swore in, went through there. Got Melissa's birth certificate and all that there at Fort Sam Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Got it all put up, put back. And we stayed there until I retired and come down here.
Yeah, I remember. That had to be like 1984.
72 was Melissa's birth, about 70, and
Or maybe. Yeah, I think it was after, because we moved back in 1982.
somewhere in there. It
From
happened.
82 to 84 when you, I think when you moved back, when you moved to
Yeah,
here.
well, I remember the day of here, when we moved into this house here. We had our furniture sent at Fort Devens and all this stuff back down here. We didn't have anything at Fort Devens anyway. And called the people and gonna have it down here, and I told your mother that we'll be landing down there with our furniture and everything on a certain date. Well, that afternoon, and it was summertime, we had, y'all had a carry-all, I think, at that time. Someone had a big crowd. And here come the Kings. Well, Tyler was about this tall.
Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon, you and Brandon and Tyler. And Tyler bailed off in that damn swimming pool we had at that time. Then just got out and run. You had to get in and get him.
No, that was Brandon that did it. Tyler wasn't born yet, but
Well,
yeah, Brandon.
I don't know, somebody jumped in
Brandon,
the water.
Brandon jumped in the water.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
He would have been about. That would have been about. He would have been about 5 or 6,
somewhere
along in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, now we had it all, and we're still moving furniture around. We had nothing done, you know. So we had to go out and eat and all that. Of course, they liked that. I was tired of eating out. No problem. We had to eat anyway.
Yeah.
So that's about the size of it. It probably needs an awful lot of butchering up and sticking it back together.
I think we can follow it pretty good.
Well, he won't do it. He's going to have some problems. He's got some problems with, or you having the same thing as he's got. All these abbreviations of the fucking Army.
Yeah, well, that's one of the. When I didn't know what it was, I asked.
Well, you ask, you know, but he's going to be somewhat a little better than you were. 'Cause
Yeah, he's going to be
in
indoctrinated it already, so he's already kind of in it some, so he knows.
Yeah, somewhat.
What
And I got a bunch of my books that you might want to look at them. I don't know. He's always asking too many questions. I bought 5 or 6 different books off of people that I knew in Vietnam and were with in Vietnam, mostly. And when I was on A teams and all that, and I went to SOG, which is Studies and Observations Group, was the primary one. Then it went to Recon. Didn't call it Recon, but anyway.
That had to be in like 63 or 64, huh? 60. When you were with SOG?
Yeah.
That had to be some of the Special Forces times whenever you were over.
I was in Special Forces, but we weren't called Special Forces.
No, I know, okay.
That end of it. Well, they called us Special Forces, but we didn't have that note on our. We had regular Army when we were with the Green Beret. But you were SOG, yeah. Studies and Observation Group was the first part of it, and then they changed it over to what else they call it. And all the other abbreviations, you know, like that. You refer to different places by words that were associated with that particular place, like that. Shit. You know where that 3-letter deal, like WTH?